Kia ora e te iwi, nau mai hoki mai ki tēnei teihana, te Tawhiwhirangi o Tūranganui a Kiwa. Big kia ora going out to all the whānau out there. We're starting off in a sort of a sombre way, I dare say. We're kind of starting off our proceedings in a sombre way, considering the, definitely the weekend that we all, I guess, as a country, have had to endure and go through, even though this has affected, it's been a major effect down there in Christchurch. Our hearts and our tears, our sorrow, obviously goes out in particular to the whānaus that have been affected by the, what can be said, nothing less than a terrorist attack that has occurred on our very own shores. So we want to start off on a sombre, I guess a sombre sort of a way, just to show, you know, that's just how things are, I suppose, nowadays. Also, let's just welcome, first of all, and kick into things. We welcome to the show, as usual, Raa Walker. Morena, bro.
Yeah, good morning, Keith. And no, you're right. A pretty sad weekend in Aotearoa's history, and our thoughts and prayers do go out to a lot of the whānaus that lost loved ones down there. Our country's too small for this. Everyone's interconnected, and that's why we sort of all in sombre mode. But as I say, a very sad weekend, bro.
Joining us also from up there in Paeroa, we have with us our man Rino Wilkinson. Morena, Rino.
Yeah, morena. Just to reiterate what Raa said too, it has been a sombre weekend since Friday's sadness, obviously. Just one of those weekends to get through, mate. No doubt we'll cover all through the show and kind of get into a sports segment as well.
Joining us from over there in Australia, we have with us our man Jason Tawhiwhirangi. Morena, bro.
Yeah, morena, boys. Yeah, it's definitely life-changing event happened back home in Christchurch. Very sad, very, very sad. And one of those moments, especially living over here, we wish you could, do something to help out the poor people. As a result of this, stories have come about guys being heroes, and I think one bloke who helped people get over the fence, and the other guy who sacrificed himself to save others. Just one of those things, mate. You remember where you were when it happened, and just much love and best wishes to all the people affected by this back home.
With you being over in Australia there, JT, what's the feeling that is coming out, especially from the whānau and from people in general over there in Australia?
Yeah, it's an odd one. I'm actually up at the Sunshine Coast at the moment, so the demographic up here is a lot of elderly retired people, so and there's not many Māoris up here. I'm going to be blunt about that. So I've been up to the shopping centre a couple of times and then, pulled aside. People said, it's terrible what happened in your country and, being in New Zealand, and, they just can't believe it happened as we can't. It's just a terrible thing. And, I'll talk to my wife and my kids about it because I'm away for the week, and actually we're flying into New Zealand next Thursday, so it's going to be a different feeling going home. I always love going home, and this won't change, but I guess it'll be a tinge of sadness because it'll be the first time we've been home since it happened. But yeah, mate, it's all been said before. It's not a good thing. And I hope the guy, or the people that perpetrated this, is right.
What about your feeling there, Reno, up there in Paeroa? What's the feeling over there?
Yeah. Well, I got home and I heard all about it Friday afternoon at Mahi. Then got into home and watched most of the broadcasts, actually right through to till rugby kicked off. Till I watched the Chiefs Canes and went back to watch some more of it. Not a nice feeling, obviously. Like everyone that's said in the media, everyone that's spoken down there in Christchurch or Totahi have all said that you would never thought it would happen in our little country, let alone down there. And you got to feel for Christchurch for what they've been through, mate. Everyone knows all about the earthquakes and for this to happen last Friday afternoon. But yeah, I went to rugby yesterday to watch my son-in-law play. A minute silence for the senior Bs and As, and that was reflected right across the whole country in most sport codes, I would guess, nearly all I would say. It was very quiet, very, very sombre moment. And I shot up to the Warriors game yesterday, and yeah, they did their big thing up there as well. And the camaraderie. I think we saw sports teams kind of together as the Chiefs and the Hurricanes showed, but everyone was really talking about it. Was a big topic of discussion, and I see this morning, as I told you just off air, the numbers at 50, and yeah, it's going to be interesting times, mate, for our country, especially going forward. I see they want to change the gun laws now and all that type of stuff. It's going to be very, very interesting times. Look, when I went out to the Warriors yesterday, it was a full check with a scan and everything. So it's like you were going through customs, mate, and they had the whole thing going right through. They had to do it. Understandable with the Super Rugby game canned last night, but, you had the Polyfest up in Auckland cancelled, a big event over there in Tauranga postponed. Understandable. So those are just some of the things I think we're going to experience as life living here in Aotearoa. Going forward. It was a reaction after 9/11 in September. Things got tough all over, so this is just going to be something we would never have thought would happen in our little country. It's going to be time to change, mate.
What are your thoughts, Raa?
Yeah, well, like everybody else, Keithy, it's it's one of those tragedies that should never have happened. Sadly, it's the state of the world we live in nowadays. You never know when, and you never know how. But one would think in our small little paradise here, we were a long way from a lot of that negativity that does take place in the world. But no, it's sort of sadly after the weekend, it's been sort of brought forward to our humble little nation, and it's just there'll be a lot of soul searching all around the place, and I think as a country and as Kiwis, I know that there's a lot of strength and sadness out there, but we tend to come together as one, and now's the time that we will, and we'll get through, but not forgetting the sadness that happened down there in the Garden City.
Well, absolutely. I mean, it's just a terrible thing, and like you say, it's I guess something that we've got to work through and get over. What do you reckon, Raa?
Yeah, we will get through this because unfortunately, as I mentioned earlier, this seems to be the way of the world now. There's no places, not too many places around the globe that have been affected by such tragedies, and we always hope that it doesn't happen in our little piece of paradise, but unfortunately after this weekend it has, and I hope the people that they have caught held responsible for their nastiness. We don't need that here, and I hope they get their just desserts.
Now, there are vigils coming up all over the country, and just for people here in Gisborne, now there is going to be like a prayer and a vigil that's going to be happening tonight. I think at 7 o'clock at Derby Street on the court. I can't remember exactly the church right now, but it's the church on the corner of Derby Street and we're on Derby Street. Palmerston Road, yes, that's the one.
Mate, I don't even live there anymore. The one by bricks.
That's exactly what the place. Yes, you've got that right. 7 o'clock tonight, but also a multicultural one will be happening 7:30 down at the Marina or Marina Park on Thursday. So you can get along down there. Now, I understand also some people just to show their solidarity have decided to, lay flowers or wreaths at the Gisborne town clock. I understand people are doing that. I haven't paid a visit to the clock of, well, certainly not this morning, but that's what I understand is what the go is or what's been happening around here. What about up in Pairo? Is there anything along those particular lines happening over there, Rino?
Yeah, it is. It's down at the main monument down at the local RSA, or let alone up on our Primrose, where we recognise those who have been before us, so when it came to the war times. So yeah, the flowers, the wreaths have been laid. They do have special service in town as well. I can imagine the churches today will be a very, very sombre day at the church services. There'll be a lot of reflections on Christchurch. I think similarity to when the earthquakes hit Christchurch as well. So yeah, it's just one of those days that will be recognised. And I think the majority of the country are behind all that type of stuff, and giving them flowers and everything. It's just one of those days. Look, just to let you know, too, living right across from me is a couple of Muslim families, and I've spoken to them yesterday actually, and it was very emotional because they all kind of relate to each other, and obviously do the same blessings on their Friday. It's one of those things they do together, as their religion is. And it was very sad. Quite heartbroken actually was the man that I was talking to, as you can understand. And yeah, no animosity, nothing as such at the moment, just thoughts and prayers with those who suffered through their religion down there in Christchurch. So it was a nice touching feeling there to catch up with him and talk to him. And yeah, it's just one of those moments. And going to be tough, mate, for the next week or so, eh?
Yes, absolutely. I just want to say also, seeing, especially on social media in particular, I've got friends who are doing similar things, reaching out. One of my friends was Matt Kotuhi. He is down in Christchurch, and he posted on Facebook that he never thought he would ever go to a mosque. He never thought that, obviously the events that happened on Friday would happen. But he eventually has gone to a mosque, and, he's kind of like been as one. And I suppose that's kind of like the thing that's happening, that togetherness that's kind of happening around the country. That's kind of the feeling I'm getting. Is that what you're getting there, Raa?
Oh, it is, Keithy. I mean, I think it's the humanity in all of us, regardless of your religion, race or creed. And as I alluded to earlier, a small country like Aotearoa where, this is a beautiful country. I mean, we have our ups and downs. It's not a perfect world we live in, but this madness that sort of, taken place over the weekend, it impacts on all of us, it affects all of us even more so. Those whānaus that were that lost loved ones, we can all relate to that, and it's something we never ever hoped to see in our country. And it's going to be a hard road to get through for a lot of the whānaus and for Kiwis all over. But I think if we all sort of come together, stick together, and support one another, regardless of your, religion, race or creed, I think we will get through. It'll be a long road though, and as we made mention, our thoughts and everything go out to those whānaus down there. Just truly a sad weekend in the country.
Now, on top of the sadness and the grief that has obviously come about, AJT, another emotion that has come out, and I'm going to ask you first because I know you're someone who, how would I say this? You're someone who, at least to me, is not afraid to express their anger, and that's one of the things that I guess has gotten out there too. You must feel a little bit of anger out there, AJT.
Oh, I feel a lot of anger, Keith. I
Yes.
feel a lot of anger towards these scumbags who have brought their crap to our beautiful country. We're known around the world as being quite peaceful, friendly, outgoing, and don't mind a bit of a laugh sort of a people. We don't have enemies. We've never invaded any other country. We've been involved in other forces to go and help out, to help out. But to bring their take to New Zealand and to carry it out in the manner that it was carried out against, individuals just going about their day-to-day business, in a place of worship. I'll admit I'm not the most religious person out there, but I do respect the right of people to have their beliefs and to practice freely without, prejudice and certainly without this sort of crap happening. And absolutely, mate, inside in the pit of my stomach, I was angry. I would love to have been there when that happened, and to have the guy around the dark alley, and there'd be no trial, mate. I'd be the one on trial. But just an an absolute abhorrence, disgusting, disgraceful act that happened in our beautiful country. And like I said before, mate, a lot of the people I've met up here on the Sunshine Coast over the last couple of days have all, as the elderly people do, they tend to have a bit of a chat, and under the circumstances, just sort of make time. And you know, what set out to be a half an hour shopping trip ended up being 2.5, 3 hours. But you take the time because, like I said, there's not many Māoris up here, and they identify me with what happened over there, and some I'm happy to have my say and let them get off their chest what they want.